OpenAI has just unveiled something that doesn't just give you answers, it takes action for you. The ChatGPT agent can browse the web, conduct research, and even handle tasks like building spreadsheets or creating slides. Instead of acting like a simple chatbot, it now combines research and web actions under your control. In this video, I'll walk you through how it works, including demonstrations of spreadsheet and slideshow generation, as well as a clear look at its capabilities and limitations. While the feature is currently limited to certain paid users and comes with usage caps, the shift it represents is important. So the real question is, what if your AI could not only respond to you, but also manage the work you don't have time to do yourself? The real significance of the ChatGPT agent is how it moves from being a conversational partner to functioning more like an operator. Where most people still think of ChatGPT as a box to type questions into, this new version merges research skills with an ability to execute steps on your behalf. It is no longer just about giving you facts, it's about following a chain of actions you might otherwise do yourself. A useful way to think of it is through the analogy of a junior assistant. Hand over a bundle of case files, and instead of you combing through every page, the assistant comes back with a clear summary showing which filings connect to which arguments. Point out you've got a client meeting tomorrow, and they've already laid out background clips and headlines relevant to that individual. The agent follows that same pattern, except what comes back is a structured report on your screen, assembled in real time. And because it maintains context across tasks, it can connect what you've asked before with what you need now, effectively chaining steps that make outputs more useful. At the same time, it raises completely fair concerns. Can an automated tool handle tasks with nuance? What if it misunderstands an instruction or moves ahead where you'd prefer caution? OpenAI has tried to address this by keeping the user firmly in control. Sensitive steps, like logging into accounts or performing actions with personal data, don't happen automatically. The system pauses, waits for permission, and allows you to intervene. OpenAI has emphasized being mindful of what information you share. The agent is capable of entering data into web pages, so you should use care about where you provide credit card or other sensitive details. That warning is not minor. It's one of the safety instructions built into the rollout. Imagine what this looks like in a professional setting. You can tell the agent to map your day not just by listing meetings, but by pulling in relevant news stories about the people in the room. Within moments, your schedule adjusts with blocked preparation windows, and notes include headlines or recent filings tied directly to those participants. It only carries out what you authorize, and you can take over instantly with a manual override if you'd prefer a different approach. The result is more efficiency without feeling like you've handed control to a black box. Legal professionals may find the value especially sharp. Request the agent to organize a case history, and it can convert scattered filings and witness notes into a structured spreadsheet. Instead of hours spent rearranging timelines, the events are lined up in rows and columns with dates cross-referenced, allowing you to check everything at a glance. You still verify the output, but the heavy burden of transcribing and connecting details is lifted. That blend of labor-saving automation plus final human review illustrates how the system fits into real workflows. Transparency is another important detail. The agent shows you what tools it is using, whether a simple text search or an interactive browser, when a web form needs to be filled. This visibility makes it clear what the AI is doing, reducing uncertainty and reinforcing that you remain the decision maker. Rather than hoping it doesn't cross a boundary, you can see when it's about to, and you can stop it. This situates the ChatGPT agent not just as a source of information, but as a participant in the work itself. It aligns outputs, charts schedules, and organizes scattered materials into formats that are ready for review. That's the leap from an assistant that responds to you to an operator that helps carry the task to completion within set boundaries. But where things get even more interesting is in what comes next. Because when the system not only organizes your work, but begins producing finished materials that look ready to present, the experience takes on a very different feel. Where this shift becomes most visible is in research and creation, the point where the agent doesn't just support your work, but helps generate outputs you can actually use. The ChatGPT agent operates in two modes. In research mode, it scrapes and synthesizes information from across the web, while in interactive mode, it can navigate pages, click links, or fill out forms to complete more complex tasks. Together, these modes can be combined so the system not only finds what you need, but also takes the next step to act on that information. This combination saves enormous amounts of time. Gathering and comparing information from dozens of sources is usually slow and labor-intensive. Here, the agent condenses that span into minutes. For example, request a review of current discussions around a policy change, and instead of opening every document yourself, the agent pulls relevant details from multiple web pages, compares differing perspectives, and delivers a single, clear summary. It isn't simply lifting text, it's reordering the information into a usable structure. That same structuring ability becomes especially powerful when dealing with raw, unorganized data. Watch how a pile of appeal cases, each with filing dates, outcomes, and references, can be turned into a spreadsheet in seconds. Instead of scrolling through hundreds of notes, the agent arranges everything into rows and columns, sorted in a way that allows instant analysis. Even charts showing reversal patterns over time can be included without manual effort. For a legal professional, this can mean cutting through weeks of tedious organization and immediately spotting trends that matter. Slideshows provide another clear demonstration. Feed the agent a draft or rough outline of notes, and it builds a full presentation. Slide titles, bullet points, supporting text, and even basic visuals aligned to the subject. Whether for a courtroom briefing or a business pitch, the outcome is a formatted deck that reduces hours of design into a few minutes. The payoff here is not in skipping human review, but in freeing up energy to focus on arguments and ideas rather than alignment and formatting. Measured benchmarks put these capabilities into perspective. On the spreadsheet bench, where the system was tested against structured data tasks, the ChatGPT agent achieved 45.7% of human performance compared with 71.3% for people. In investment banking modeling analysis, it jumped from about 55.5% in prior versions to roughly 68.9% now. These numbers show that in specific structured tasks, the system is already operating within striking distance of trained professionals. Importantly, these are examples of what it can achieve, not guarantees that every task will hit the same level. Still, the speed and structure sometimes bring a moment of hesitation. A polished spreadsheet or slide deck can feel definitive, even when the underlying details might include mistakes. Small errors, like swapped dates, miscategorized outcomes, or incomplete citations, are easy to overlook if you rely too heavily on the output. This is why oversight is essential. A practical way to use the agent safely is to follow 3 quick checks before adopting its work. Verify key facts against the original sources, confirm dates and numerical entries match primary documents, and make sure no sensitive steps were executed without your approval. These steps reduce the risk of hidden errors while preserving the advantages of automation. Handled this way, the agent is not a magic answer, but a disciplined tool. The real gain comes from pairing its speed with your judgment, ensuring that the results serve rather than mislead. Used with the right checks, it compresses what once seemed unmanageable into something not just faster, but more effective. And as these examples suggest, what we've seen so far hints at a bigger shift underway, one where AI moves from being a side tool for conversation into a true partner embedded in everyday work. The ChatGPT agent marks a practical step forward, moving from simple responses to handling calendars, reports, presentations, and online actions with guided automation under your supervision. It allows users to save time and structure their work more effectively, but the best way to approach it is carefully and incrementally. Start with small tasks like summaries or simple schedules, and always review its outputs closely. As reported in the background research, Access is rolling out on paid tiers, with Plus users at $20 per month having around 40 agent messages, while Pro at $200 per month offers about 400. These quotas may change, so confirm details directly on OpenAI's site. One critical safety note: Avoid entering sensitive credentials, such as credit card numbers, automatically, and be ready to interrupt or override actions at any point. Used this way, the agent can produce useful outputs quickly while keeping you in control. Would this kind of automated case timeline help in your research workflow?